Okay, my dear learners, I greet you once again. Thank you for choosing Good Choice Schools. Together we can, divided we fall. In God we trust. In this lesson, this is our lesson 18, and in this lesson we are going to look at the secondary sex characteristics and the psychological plus out of step changes in adolescence. As we've discussed earlier, the topic of adolescence, growth and puberty in our lesson 17. So those who have just joined us, please, I urge you to just go and get all the previous lessons such that you catch up with us. So as usual, I will start with our word bank, and your teacher today, you know my name. Okay, so we have 9 words here waiting for us to spell, break them and get their simple meanings. Let us start with this word here. So this word here, it is omasam. It is read as omasam. So omasam, it is a sister to what we call abomasam. Abomasam together with the reticulum and the rumen. Do you remember what this is? These are the 4 chambers of the stomachs of the ruminant animals, the animals that can chew the cud, like the cows, the sheep and the goats. So the word is omasam, and this compartment, it is that one which is like a paper. So paper like offals you just buy from the butchers. That is omasam. So we have our other word here. This is noodle. Oh, not noodles, but nodules. So this is read as nodules. So this is root nodules. It is a characteristic of legumes. We said they have a taproot system, and this taproot system has what we call small swellings, and now these small swellings are called root nodules. Nodules, not noodles. Root nodules that harbor what we call nitrogen fixing bacteria that fixes nitrogen into the soil in form of a nitrate and nitrate. So this is measles. This is measles. So the word is measles, and this is a killer disease which is immunizable. At the same time, it is spread through air, so it is an airborne immunizable disease. It causes skin rashes to a child, then also red eyes plus the running nose, and the child with measles gets a fever and a dry cough. So this measles is prevented through immunization using what we call measles vaccine, which is given to children at the age of 9 months, because the IgG, from what we discussed when we are looking at blood groups and antibodies, the immunoglobulin G, that antibody lasts within 9 months in the body of this child, and now this one is immunized using an injection. So injection method on the left upper arm. So our other word here, it is resource. It is resource. What is a resource? So a resource is a material or is something that man can use to satisfy his needs. So the things that man can use to satisfy his needs, that is called a resource. So we have other word here. It is peristalsis. The word is peri, then stal, then cis. The word becomes a peristalsis. What is peristalsis? So peristalsis is the down movement of food along the alimentary canal, aided by wave-like contractions and relaxation of those muscles. So another word is insemination. This is insemination. So this word is coming from the word semen, and also have the word in. So putting the semen inside a female animal, that is called insemination. In other words, insemination is the depositing of sperms inside the vagina of a female animal. Then you have this word is cardiac, and some people write cardiac. It is not cardiac, but the word is cardiac. The word is cardiac. So these are the muscles of the heart, and we say that the muscles of the heart are myogenic. They control themselves. This word is exhaustion. It is exhaustion. So this word exhaustion comes from the word exhausted. Exhausted means over or used up. So when we link this word to soil, then it becomes a soil exhaustion. This means that the soil has lost its fertility. The loss of soil fertility is called soil exhaustion. Lastly, we have this word tropism. What is tropism? From our classification of plants, we said tropism is the plant response towards what? Towards stimuli. So, or stimulus, when it is only one with the environment, we call them stimuli. So tropism is the plant response towards a stimuli or towards a stimulus, right? So our words for today are tropism, exhaustion, cardiac or masum, insemination, peristalsis, resource, measles, and nodules. My dear learner, write these words in your exercise book. After this section, we are going to go to the next section, and this section is always for a science diagram. So the diagram is already there. So today we are going to discuss this, and when you look at this one, this is a worm. So we are going to look at what we call worms. In primary 6 first term, we discussed what we call invertebrates. So these invertebrates, we said they don't have a bone. Then these invertebrates are classified into 6 groups. One of the groups we have the mollusks, then the class of worms, the class of arthropods, then the class of coleonterates. We have the sponges, and also we have the echinoderms, right? So these were the 6 classes of the animals without a backbone. So today we are now going to look at one class, and that is the class of worms. Now these worms are classified into 3, and to remember them, we normally use what we call a Selyange. This is Selyange, then Farouk, and Epikira. So this is the guiding word. Now Selyange, this is going to stand for the segmented worms. Then Ru, it is going to stand for the round worms, and Farouk is going to stand for the flat worms. Then Anepikira, these letters, they are giving us the other names for these segmented worms. Now the Se goes with an. Now this one is going to stand for the annelids. Now these segmented worms, they are also called annelids. Then round worms is going to go with Ne. Now this Ne is going to stand for nematodes, from the word Anepikira. So nematodes. Then P stands for the plate helmets. So plate helmets. So plate helmets. So that is another name for flat worms there. So plate helmets, they are flat worms. Round worms are also called nematodes. Then segmented worms are also called annelids. Then we have the basic 3 examples. 1, we are having the hookworms. 2, we are having a tapeworm. Then 3, we have the earthworm. So this earthworm, it is the best example of a segmented worm. Remember when we started our topic human body, we looked at hermaphrodites, and we said tapeworms are hermaphrodites. Then hookworms, earthworms are also hermaphrodites, plus the snails and the slugs. Then another type of worm, this hookworm, it is a round worm. Then the tapeworm, it is under the plate helmets, the flat worms. My dear learner, what you are seeing here, it is now a tapeworm. So some members, some learners mistake this tapeworm because it has these hooks. No, these hooks, they are there, but these ones doesn't define it to be a round worm or a hook worm. So let us take the diagram showing this hookworm, this tapeworm. I'm drawing it just like here, like this. Then I put this, then here, then I'm going to put these things you are seeing over here. Now I'm going to get these ones here, and this one, what you have to know is that it is the longest worm in the body. It is the longest worm in the body. Just get to know this. It is the longest worm here. Now when you look at this one, this is what we call a sucker, and now these ones are what we call the hooks. So the importance of the hooks is to hold or to cling onto the walls of the ileum. Remember, this is a parasite. This tapeworm, it is a parasite. So it is an endo parasite or an internal parasite. So it stays in what we call the ileum, and once it is in the ileum, it needs to get attached onto the walls of the ileum. So it is attached onto the walls of the ileum by the help of the hooks. Then these suckers, it enables it to do what? To feed, because it is living in the ileum, and in the ileum we have digested food, so it feeds on digested food. And this is a common question: how is the feeding of a tapeworm different from that of a hookworm? So a hookworm feeds on blood and a tapeworm feeds on digested food. So as a result, it is going to give us diarrhea. But because this one feeds on blood, it's going to reduce the amount of blood in our bodies, thus giving us a condition called anemia. But because this condition is achieved due to the effect of the hookworm, then this anemia is termed as the hookworm anemia. Okay, now let us come back here. So this is the head of a tapeworm, and the head of a tapeworm is scientifically called the scolex. Then these ones are called the segments. So let us compare what we have drawn with what is here. Automatically these ones, all of them, they are called the hooks clinging or holding it onto the walls of the ileum. Now these protruding things you are seeing, they are not eyes, but these ones are what we call the suckers, enabling it to feed. It feeds on digested food. So when you look at these ones, these are what we call segments. And now these segments, they are what we call these segments are the ones that carry the eggs. It is hermaphrodite and it reproduces by means of laying eggs. Then the lower part, the lower segments are the ones carrying the eggs, and once now this lower part gets heavy with the eggs, then it is going to break off and it's going to be passed out through the feces or the dung of any animal. Then because this tapeworm does not have sharp endings, then it enters through our bodies in a way of eating undercooked meat, mainly pork. So when you don't cook it well, so that meat carries the eggs and some worms. So once you eat them, then they are going to start incubating within your body. And apart from this one, this is the main spray method. Then another one, that is eating unwashed fruits and leafy vegetables. Now, so this is a tapeworm. So this is all of this one, it is going to be the scolex. So the head is called the scolex, and now it is put under flatworms simply because when you look at the segments are flat. So there are two examples of flatworms in the category of the plate helminths. Another one is what we call the liver fluke. My dear learner, have you remembered the tapeworm? So this one is a tapeworm. So I want you to just think of the ways how we can avoid contracting or getting the tapeworms within our intestines. Remember, intestinal worms, it is a disorder to our digestive system. Okay, so now after that, let us continue with our human body. So under this human body, we are going to look at the secondary sex characteristics. So in the previous lesson, we looked at adolescence, whereby we said this is the transition change from childhood to adulthood. We looked at puberty and we said that puberty is the period during adolescence when boys and girls become sexually mature and can produce babies but not yet ready. We also looked at growth and said this is the increase in size. Then development is the increase in maturity. So this is when we increase in size as also maturity increases. Then from there we said adolescence, when we are undergoing adolescence, we are called the adolescents, and there are 4 stages that are taking place during adolescence. 1, we said the primary sex characteristics, 2, secondary sex characteristics, then 3, psychological, we have psychological and emotional changes, then 4, out of step changes. Now here we are going to discuss secondary sex characteristics. As I told you in the previous lesson, that sex doesn't mean those bad things, but they're not bad because all of us, we are as a result of that. So that action is called the sexual intercourse. or sexual intercourse. Then we are looking at sex, it means male and female, so we are looking at those characteristics. Now, under secondary sex characteristics here, we are looking at physical features that distinguish. So this one involves the physical development of the physical features, the physical characteristics that we use to separate or to distinguish between a mature man and a woman. So the things that you can look at and say, this one is a woman, this one is a man. So those ones are called secondary sex characteristics. Now let us start with those ones in boys. So in boys, one, the sweat glands become active. So the sweat glands become active, they sweat a lot and they start smelling badly. That is one. Two, they grow the pubic hair, growth of pubic hair. This is the hair around the penis. Then the hair around under the armpits. Then this hair, they get the beards also, and the hair around the face, and also below the lower abdomen. So this is also a secondary sex characteristic in boys. Then again, in boys, their voices break and deepens. So the voice breaks and deepens. Then they use the bass when they're speaking. And again here, their bodies become more muscular. So they look too masculine. So the bodies become more muscular. So the body becomes more muscular. The voice breaks and becomes too deep. Then the growth of pubic hair and hair under the armpits, beards, and on the face, even on the lower abdomen. Then the sweat glands become more active. Are we there? Now, these secondary sex characteristics are initiated or are brought up by a hormone, and this hormone is called testosterone in boys. So now let us look at the secondary sex characteristics in our girls. The physical things, the physical features we can look at and say, now no, this is a mature woman, this is a man. One, also they get what we call the sweat glands becoming more active. So their sweat glands become more active. Then enlargement of the hips, enlargement and rounding of the hips, so they get curves. Then three, they also grow the pubic hair. So the growth of pubic hair around the vagina. Then even they also get the hair under the armpits. Then they develop breasts, and the breasts become tender and attractive. So they develop breasts, and these breasts become tender and so attractive. Then their faces look so attractive. So they get smooth faces that are attractive. So these are the secondary sex characteristics in females, in girls. And what brings these characteristics in girls? It is the hormone called the estrogen produced by the Graafian follicle. Alright, so now let us move on and see what we call psychological and emotional changes. Psychological, this is how we write the word psychology. Now this one becomes psychological and emotional changes. Now these psychological and emotional changes, they just take place within the minds of any adolescent. So this adolescent cannot notice that is under psychological or emotional changes, but people around him or her, they get note of that. One, they get annoyed very fast. They get annoyed very fast. Two, they reject their parents' roles. So they reject the parents' roles plus for teachers' roles. Then three, they get attracted or interested in opposite sex. So you find boys talking about girls, they start wooing girls, conning them, and even girls, they talk about boys sexually. Then four, they want freedom. They want freedom. Then five, they move in peer groups. So they move in peer groups. So these people who do these ones, they don't notice that, but for us who are around them, we just tell that no, this person has changed in minds, and these changes that are taking place within the minds of these adolescents are what we call psychological and emotional changes. Then lastly, we have what we call out of step. Now these out of step, they are not very many, but this one means that the age mate finds him or herself developing faster than others. For example, a girl who has used to be short and small finds herself fat and tall, then taller than the age mates. For example, if all of them they are 12 years, you may find that this girl now from nowhere is now growing fat and is very tall. So this is what we call the out of step. So this has been so quick, and cause it is simple and easy for you to understand. Let us take our assignment. Number 1 here, identify 2 examples of secondary sex characteristics. Secondary sexy characteristics in Roman 1 boys, Roman 2 girls. Number 2, write down 3 psychological changes that adolescents undergo. Number 3 here, define puberty. Number 4, mention 2 secondary sex characteristics common in both girls and boys. Number 5, what is growth? Number 6, mention 2 examples of primary sex characteristics. In Roman A, in part A, girls, then part B, boys. Okay, so you've been a good learner. We meet in the next lesson.